Shit! I'm gonna miss it!
And now I ramble forth on my endless journey to be the greatest AIDS spreader of all time.
I was rushing for this? Remember when you were a kid watching Cartoon Network and this came on?
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out.
Oh baby, I know that music anywhere. Adult Swim was an animation block that would run on Cartoon Network starting at 8 to 10ish and would run throughout the night. What I want to do is talk about the history of Adult Swim and my own experiences with it. Personally, I find it to be one of the more interesting television blocks. To start, let's trace it back to where it all started. In 1994, Cartoon Network's head programmer Mike Laszlo created a little show known as Space Ghost Coast to Coast. The show would feature interviews from celebrities while Space Ghost would ask them pretty bizarre questions. The questions were different than the ones actually asked, but the results were comedic gold. Just look at these reactions.
Hey, what do you think of Lassie, Hulk?
Well, I'm an animal lover. I don't think I'd want to...
No, I wouldn't either.
Russell Lassie. I wish Lassie was my pet.
Me too. But Ted Turner won't let us have pets in the studio. Ever since Banjo. Banjo!
Fast forward to 2001, deciding to take Space Ghost and their other mature shows they added to their lineup. Harvey, Birdman, The Brack Show, City Lab 2021, and my personal favorite, Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
So it's either you definitely should not play with matches, or you definitely should.
It's definitely one or the other.
Which one you think it is, Carl?
They would go on to make a channel block known as Adult Swim. A good chunk of these shows would reuse assets from other old animations. Harvey Birdman literally being about a lawyer defending characters like the Flintstones and Scooby Goddamn Doo. There was an episode where Scooby-Doo and Shaggy get caught with weed.
Just wanted to point out, this was a month after the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. 2002 was the era of Stoner Doo. Anyways.
Home Movies is another show I want to point out. It was part of the initial Adult Swim lineup. At the time, UPN only aired about 5 episodes before it got axed. Luckily, AS would pick it up, and I'm so glad they did. It bounces so well off the rest of the block, and it helps form the core of Adult Swim's identity. If you take a look to see how the show lineup would evolve, many other shows would get a second chance. Futurama, Family Guy, King of the Hill. Hell, you could even argue them being aired here made them even more popular. Futurama would get many movies after its airing, and Family Guy would get approved for many seasons afterward on Fox. It's where I first saw them. I first fell in love with these shows. The shows on Adult Swim felt like a big family. And it's why it hurt to see these shows get cut. Futurama would get moved to Comedy Central, and Family Guy would be exclusive to Fox again. After Adult Swim had already made these shows very popular. It was like watching a friend move away.
There's another thing the big AS helped popularize, and it's probably my biggest source of being bullied growing up.
Every Saturday night. 6 cartoons. Excellent. 3 premieres.
I'm gonna kick your ass!
3 hours.
Let's go!
Only for grown-ups.
What shall I do?
Adult Swim, premiering Saturday, February 23rd at 11.
Keep those eyes open.
Put the kids to bed and get ready to get down.
Get down!
Alright, let's talk anime. Early on, they introduced a little show called Cowboy Bebop, whose inclusion was creative director Jason DeMarco.
This show is amazing. Its emphasis on noir, sci-fi, jazz, and its mind-boggling animation. It was enough to make any 8-year-old staying up that late utter,
Yatta! Kono Showan Subayashi Desu!
Weeb!
Now I get why I was bullied.
Point being though, the show was amazing. It never did that crazy in the ratings though, but Mike Laszlo loved it. Like, he was crazy for it. And now, you can feel the impact everywhere. On the media, NBA, That's still a little wild to me, to be honest. I can't tell you how many times I fell asleep just to wake up in middle school to the Inuyasha ending credits. Those credits are now seared into the back of my mind. While a lot of animes they would play would be more shonen or action-based drama, it was still a good sampling of different art styles and timepieces. The fact they played Lupin the Third, which in Japan aired in 1970 to 1980s, on the same channel they aired Death Note, was just really cool in my opinion. Now, if you wanted something with no animation and only live action,
why are you f***ing watching Cartoon Network then? Must be a big dude, what would happen fan, huh? More of a destroy, build, destroy guy myself. Shout out to Andrew WK.
well, if you hate all things drawn in pencils, you're in luck, because there's a decent amount of live action shows with some absurd comedy. I wasn't super into them growing up, but man, checking out these shows again for this video, I can't tell you why, but they had me cracking up just from the sheer amount of what the If I had to pick one show just to recommend, it would be the Eric Andre show. It's a mixture of a talk show and a prank show, with the gimmick being celebrities have no idea what's going on. The most famous bit being when Seth Rogen had his phone number leaked by Eric Andre. The amount of balls to do that is staggering.
Throughout this whole video, I've been playing different Adult Swim bumps, and I really do encourage you guys to check out more of it. From the indie style music to the viral style campaigns and advertisements, but there's one bump. There's one f***ing bump. If you grew up with Adult Swim around the same time period I did, you probably already know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna show it. What's next, Adult Swim? You're gonna tell me 7 days left, or what the f?
This is known as the Dawn is Your Enemy. It would play at the end of a block as a way to deter kids who were waking up at the time. The only thing it deterred for me was a good night's sleep. The eerie music with the creepy image of a dreaded face and the sun just looking at you. It oddly feels nostalgic though in a way. It reminds me of a time when my mom and dad would be getting up for work and I would rush off the bed so I wouldn't get caught. I had to be to sleep. I had responsibilities. I had school in the morning. Time to unwind, watch TV, and play games were over. The Dawn was my enemy.
The amount of attachment I have for this channel is absurd. Like, it helped shape a lot of my identity growing up on it. My taste in music, my shitty sense of comedy. The amount of success stories that came out here is absurd. Like Futurama, Family Guy, Rick and Morty. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on that. And it all happened at the middle of the night when most of the populace was asleep. Like, in the middle of the night. I think there's something beautiful in that.
Growing up, a lot of things would change in my life, but there was always one thing that would remain consistent. Every day, between 11 and 5 p.m., that same channel would be running. On December 2019, Mike Laszlo would retire, and with his retirement, Adult Swim would air a bumper paying tribute to him. It featured some important advice he would give. Don't try to be funny, be interesting.